In 1813, the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard was born into a world that was rapidly becoming smaller. All kinds of modern communication were about to bring people together like never before. So much so, he predicted, that this coming together of the masses would render us more like a generic swarm. We wouldn't be individuals anymore. We'd be somewhat like duplicates or clones, all doing, and more importantly, choosing pretty much the same things. Kierkegaard called this being lost in the finite. He was predicting we'd think we are presented with a certain array of choices, but when it comes to deciding what we're going to do, choose, or I'll say eat, which is a better health analogy, we'll go with what everyone else goes with. We'll follow the crowd, or at least limit ourselves in our choices. We'd always stick to a certain limited subset of what's available. And I believe Kierkegaard was correct. This has come to pass. In modern life, we really do follow the crowd way more than you'd think. But hey, Kierkegaard didn't want us getting all down in the dumps about our boring choices. He was such a considerate philosopher bloke that he presented us with an alternative. And he called it being lost in the infinite, the infinite. Yes, the one person had given us both lost in the finite and the infinite. So when lost in the infinite, on the other hand, we have a huge range of choices and possibilities, but we now find ourselves struggling to make a choice at all. We get choosers block. Does that look a bit like the weekly shop in a supermarket? 37 kinds of sliced bread loaves, but which one to actually buy? In this instance, he's suggesting that we are not in fact able to make our own choice. In theory, we do possess the ability to freely act, but we are somewhat incapacitated. We will make a choice from what we are presented without really believing in it. We really have lost a piece of ourselves in the infinite. Now, I want to continue to illustrate this concept in terms of food choices because they are so critically important to our health. Now, our wonderful Danish friend Mr. Kierkegaard, or at least our nice friend, Danish people are quite nice apparently. Aren't they like the Canadians of Europe? I don't know, is that right? Let us know, sorry. I digress. Ultimately, our friend Mr. Kierkegaard thought most of us would end up living in an unsatisfactory zone somewhere between lost in the finite and lost in the infinite. And it certainly looks like this has come to pass, especially to us in wealthier developed countries. We are in between, in a rather confused state. In our privileged position, we have become a bit like zombies, and we're stuck between lost in the infinite and lost in the finite. We often do have a large range of foods to choose from, but we also tend to get stuck choosing from a narrow band of the choices. And you guessed it, the foods we choose more of, that sell the most, like chicken, processed meats, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and beige processed packeted and junk foods, are not the nutrient-dense foods that we would benefit from most. We get drawn to them like lobotomized sheep because we've been conditioned to believe they should make up the core foods in our diets, and also some of them are quite addictive just quietly. But superior foods, however, would fortify us and make us stronger, which would lead to making better choices because we'd have more energy and be able to think more clearly and rationally. Now, having said all of that about the finite and infinite, I'm glad to say that Mr. Kierkegaard does ultimately become the hero of this story. This dashing fellow with those gorgeous eyes and that hair to die for with this third offering presents a wonderful solution to this fine mess. He offers us the leap of faith. Now, even though he believed faith to be something that defies logical explanation, he asserts we should take a courageous step beyond the realm of rational understanding, or in our case, a step beyond conventional wisdom, or our conditioning and programming. Practically speaking, we can escape being lost in the infinite or finite of dietary choices by making the effort to explore and investigate nutritional choices which offer us true nourishment. Think of nutrient-dense foods somewhat outside the norm these days, like purple carrots, oily fish, beet greens, seaweed powder, watercress, mollusks, and beef liver, just to name a few. These are all good picks, but the point is to see the superior options and act on choices. Another important step is to look up lists of nutrient-dense foods to get familiar with the possibilities. That's a part of our leap. Kierkegaard believed that the leap of faith is essential for finding meaning and purpose in life. But please allow me in this instance to adapt the idea and suggest it is essential for achieving simply better health. We leap into a personal relationship with and a commitment to our health. So before I wind this up, I'm a health science graduate and a health coach, not a formally educated philosopher, just a philosophy fan. And I've been quite loose with Kierkegaard's ideas. And in actual fact, Kierkegaard's leap of faith originally related to faith in God. But I do see this as a useful way of looking at how we select foods and take charge of our health in general. I'm Andy. Thank you for watching. If you found this information useful or interesting, then please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.